Welcome to Shamu and you exploring the world of fish. Let's start off with Shamu asking you, what would your world be like if you were a fish?
I wish I were a bird.
I'd be a fish.
I'd like to be a reptile.
I'd like to be a mammal. What do you want to be?
If you were young but not a child. If you were at home living in the wild. If you were something other than you are. Just imagine, just pretend, just what your world would be. If you were over 10 feet tall. If you would stop traffic at the mall. If you were something other than you are. Just imagine, just pretend, just what your world would be. If you,
Who, me? Yeah, you. That's who.
just imagine, just pretend. Just imagine, just pretend, if you were a fish.
Imagine if you were a fish, what would you be? You could be funny looking or scary. There are thousands of different fish. They live in the ocean and in rivers and lakes. And in their own way, each fish is strange and beautiful.
If I was a goldfish, I'd get to live in a bowl with people, and they probably would be friendly to me.
If I was a pufferfish, I would be different colors.
I would like to be a seahorse because I could swim through the waters and I could see all the beautiful scenery.
I won't be scary looking, but I would be mean.
Now presenting the fish!
Kangaroos aren't fish. They're mammals.
Here he is, the fish!
Oh, that's a bird, not a fish.
You gotta love 'em, the fish!
Lizards aren't fish either. They're reptiles.
Is there a fish in the house?
Yes, there is. Now that's a fish. If you were a fish, you'd spend most of your time in the water. A whale lives in the ocean, so it must be a fish, right? No, whales have lungs and breathe air. They're mammals. If you were a fish, you'd breathe through gills, so you couldn't be a whale. But there's plenty of other things you could be if you were a fish.
Fish champions!
This little fish may not look like a champion, but it's the champion shot of the entire fish world. It's the archer fish. Archer fish don't wait for a meal to come to them. They just shoot down their suppers. The archer fish is a true marksman. Water can distort light rays, which means when you're looking into or out of water, things aren't always where they appear to be. That can be a problem when you need perfect aim to knock down your supper. But it's no problem at all for the archer fish. He just adjusts his aim and... Archer fish squirt drops of water out of their mouths to bring down an insect. And their aim is so on target, they would make Robin Hood himself proud. The archer fish is a true fish champion.
An eel is a fish. It's strange because when it can disappear fast and it can peek its head out.
Well, that's right. Eels are fish too. And eels certainly are strange. You wouldn't normally see eels swimming out in the open like most fish. Eels usually prefer to hide in rocks and crevices, then pop their heads out to grab a meal. And an eel looks like one of the last creatures you'd want to come face to face with underwater. If you were an eel, what do you think it would be like?
If I was an eel and something came to attack me, I'd sting it with my electrical stinger.
You could if you were an electric eel. If anyone bothered you, they'd really be in for a shock. Electric eels can give out enough electric voltage to power 2 television sets. A moray eel can't shock you, but if you get too close, it'll lunge with its razor-sharp teeth and just hang on. There's something mysterious and secretive about eels. Could the tails of the legendary sea serpent actually be a giant eel? Stories have been told of baby eels being caught at sea that measure over 6 feet long. If the baby is that big, then, say the stories, somewhere deep in the ocean there could be undiscovered parent eels that are over 140 feet long. Maybe there are sea serpents after all. One of the most fascinating eels of all is the wolf eel. Wolf eels may have gotten their names because they look like eels and they have canine teeth like a wolf. But unlike their canine namesakes, wolf eels can also go months without eating. Now that's a fascinating fact.
Strangest fish.
A catfish is strange because it has whiskers and it has a tail.
Well, a tail isn't too unusual for a fish, but whiskers? No wonder they're called catfish. There are lots of strange fish in the water and out of the water. This is one of the most peculiar. It's called a mudskipper. Mudskippers carry their own supply of water with them, so they can spend their time exploring on land. They're sort of like fish scuba divers. But mudskippers aren't the only strange fish. Sometimes a batfish will stop swimming and take a walk on its fins. The sargassum fish looks like a piece of seaweed until a meal is gulped down faster than we can even see. Let's slow that picture down. But some fish are too strange to be believed.
A mermaid has a tail with things that goes like this.
They have long hair, and when they're swimming in the water, it looks like their hair shines.
Sailors once believed they saw a really strange fish, the beautiful mermaid.
Mermaids go underwater and they have a fin, and they're almost like us, except the fin. She's part fish and part human.
Now that's a pretty strange combination. A little too strange. What the sailors thought was a mermaid may actually have been this, the plant-eating gentle manatee. Talk about a fish out of water. The lungfish not only crawls out onto land, it even takes walks. While some fish can spend short periods of time on land, the lungfish can actually slither across the ground and move from pond to pond because the lungfish has gills and lungs. And even if its home pond goes dry, that's no problem for the lungfish. It'll wrap itself in a sort of cocoon of mud. and can live that way for up to 4 years until the pond fills back up. Then the lungfish swims on its way. Fish have some of the funniest names. Can you guess the name of this fish? It's the butterfly fish. See if you can guess this one. It's called a sawfish. Here's another. You got it. It's the wolf eel. Here are some more fish with funny names. There are all kinds of funny names for just about every fish under the sun. When a bunch of cows come together, we call them a herd of cattle. And when birds fly together, it's called a flock of birds. When cheetahs gather, you could call them a leap of cheetahs. But did you know that when crows get together, we call them a murder of crows? There's lots of fun names we have for animals when they gather together.
But don't try to haggle with the gaggle of geese.
Gaggle of geese.
Inside a pride of lions, you better whisper, please.
You mean it?
Shh, not so loud. There are slithering snakes and a bevy of bucks, and in a pond, a paddling of ducks.
Family name.
Like a cool school of fish.
Family name.
That's fun. Let's do another one.
Okay, listen to this now. Nothing could be louder than a clouder of cats.
Clouder of cats.
When charming a basket of cobra, don't play flat.
You're joking.
A bale of turtles, a covey of quail in the ocean, a pod of whales.
Family name.
Would you believe a lounging of lizards?
Family name.
I tried.
On the animals' heaven.
That's right. What do you call a lot of starlings?
Reverberation.
And a shoal of bass is good for a...
Flash.
Good. And a flittering flock of feathery birds.
Dissimulation.
And rhinos.
Crash.
Family names.
A shrewdness of apes.
Family names.
Gang of elk.
Family names.
A tooth the kangaroo.
Family names.
More fun than a barrel of monkeys.
Family names.
A parliament of owls, old chap.
Family names.
A kindle of seals.
Family names.
A sloth of bears.
Boy, there sure is a lot of them.
Family names.
A few days after a flatfish is hatched, a bizarre transformation begins. One of the fish's eyes begins to travel across the top of the fish's head until both eyes are on the same side. Then the flatfish spends the rest of its days swimming and living sideways. That's a fascinating fact. If you were a fish and you wanted to fly and glide underwater, you'd be a ray. Rays are related to sharks. You could say that rays are sort of like flattened sharks. Many rays have soft skin that almost feel like velvet. And some rays can grow to be over 50 feet long. If you were a ray, you'd also have a painful surprise for any fish who'd want you for a meal. Rays have venomous spines on their tails. They can whip those spines into any creature that comes too close. Rays aren't normally aggressive. They use their venom mostly to defend themselves. Here's another relative of the ray, the sawfish. The sawfish doesn't have venomous spines, but those teeth would keep anybody away from bothering a sawfish. If you were a ray, whatever ray you'd be, you'd have fins that seem like wings.
There's a world of beauty waiting to be found. When I take the time, I see mysteries alive, miracles surviving on the land and in the sea. When I take the perfect by design, I find wonder without end, time and time again, for me to see, for me to feel, when I take the time. If I take the time, when I take the
Wouldn't think that most fish are too dangerous. It seems that fish usually end up being somebody else's meal. Can you name some dangerous fish?
Barracudas. They're real long and they have sharp teeth.
Barracudas are one of the most fierce undersea creatures. In some oceans, barracudas are more feared than sharks. But not all dangerous fish live in the sea. Along rivers in South America, a small fish with a voracious appetite has become notorious. Piranha are hardly more than a foot long. But when schools of piranha get hungry, even animals the size of a horse aren't safe in the water with those ferocious fish. But most dangerous fish don't go looking for trouble. The lionfish is one of the most docile fish in the ocean, and one of the most deadly.
Well, if you touch these spines, they could get you very, very sick.
That's right. Inside each of the lionfish's pretty fins is a sharp spine of painful venom. But the most venomous fish of all is the ugly stonefish. The stonefish is almost impossible to see until it's too late. The venom in the stonefish is so deadly. Anyone unlucky enough to step on a stonefish better get help fast. Sea creatures don't always hunt each other. Sometimes, two animals even team up to help each other. It's called symbiosis. Here are two odd buddies. The sea anemone has venomous tentacles that can sting to death any fish that comes close enough to touch. But the little clownfish swims in and out of those tentacles unharmed. Somehow, the two animals have made a deal. The anemone's tentacles protect the clownfish from becoming another fish's meal. And a hunter chasing after the clownfish can end up instead becoming a meal for the anemone. That's a fascinating fact.
If I was a seahorse, I would swim in the water and let my tail stay curled up and let my colors stay right.
Seahorses look like they could be pieces from a chess game. But seahorses are actually fish, too. A seahorse can use its tail like a monkey would to grab hold of things, like a piece of seaweed. But how does a seahorse swim? A seahorse can use the little dorsal fin on its back to swim through the water. Although the seahorse isn't exactly ready for the Kentucky Derby. A seahorse looks so delicate, but it can do things that no other fish can do. A seahorse's eyes can move independent of each other. Very strange. And with seahorses, it's the male that cares for the kids. A male seahorse has a pouch just like a kangaroo. He carries the eggs of baby seahorses in his pouch. When the eggs hatch, Papa Seahorse helps the young leave the pouch and go off on their own. But parental help stops there, and the baby seahorses swim away as fast as possible, just in case Dad gets hungry.
Some use a fin. It all depends on the shape you're in. Come on, swim. Do the underwater swim. It don't matter how you go or if you're fast or slow, just swim. Come on, everybody. I'll show you how it's done. There's all kinds of swimming, and all of them are fun. And let's start with the basics. The one that most fishes do. Make your hands a tail, move it back and forth, and it will propel you. Come on and swim. Do the fishes swim. You give a little swish, just like you were a fish, and swim. Here's another one. Now put your two hands forward, like they were a tail. Move them up and down, not side to side, you're doing the killer whale. Move them up and down, not to and fro. You got the steps, so now go, man, go do the killer whale. Do the killer whale. It's so easy to do. Make believe you're Shamu. Do the killer whale.
You've heard of the invisible man. Meet the invisible fish. They have outer scales that are actually transparent. You can actually see right through. It's like having a window pane for skin. That's a fascinating fact. If there's one fish that thrills and scares us the most, it's the shark. What exactly is a shark?
It's a fish, and it has gills, and it breathes underwater, and it has fins.
Well, yeah, that's true, but can we be a little more specific?
Sharks have gills so they can breathe, and they have a fin that on their back that makes them go straight.
Some sharks are tiger sharks, and they got lots of teeth.
Fins, large teeth.
they have the biggest teeth.
And they're really special.
Sharks really are special. There are over 350 kinds of sharks, and only a few of them are dangerous. Some nurse sharks look mean, but they're really not aggressive. But then there are sharks we only want to meet from the safety of a shark exhibit, like lemon sharks or the blue shark, and one of the weirdest sharks, the hammerhead. The last place you'd expect a shark attack would be on a peaceful river far from the sea. But the bull shark can swim in fresh water just as well as in the ocean, and has no qualms about going hundreds of miles upriver in search of food. Sharks can reach lengths of over 20 feet. And sharks are not picky eaters. Over the years, all sorts of strange things have been found inside sharks. Stories tell of one shark that had even swallowed a knight in full armor. But sharks may not be the bold ocean hunters we've always imagined. Instead of fearlessly attacking its prey, a shark may just sneak up on its victim, take a large bite, then swim away fast to safety and wait for its meal to stop struggling before it moves in to feed. But even if it's not the bravest hunter, the shark is still the most feared of all the fish in the sea. The world has so many animals, mammals, birds, reptiles, and fish. Don't you wish sometimes you could be just part any other animal? If you could, what part animal would you want to be?
I know. Half mermaid and half seal.
I have the head of an alligator,
The body of a rabbit, the face of a dog, the ears of a cat.
some legs of a lion, and a stomach of a monkey.
Have arms like a kangaroo.
A cheetah's body and an elephant feet.
Would you look ferocious, so precocious if you part two and part cat? Whiskers, paws, and the lion's claws. I'm trying to imagine that. Would your family complain if you had the mane? Would you roar or purr when you sat? You'd be feline fine, you live 9 times if you part two and part cat. Would you look strange if you got rearranged? If you part two and part ape? Arms to knees at home in the trees, from Serengeti to the Cape. Possibilities expand with feet like hands and face that's changing shape. I have the hunches, bananas for lunch, if you part two and part ape. It's the feathers, the stripes, the spots, and the specks. You got the nose, he got the trunk. Fins, gills, beaks, and bills. The web, the wing, and the rump. Would you look troubled in a tub full of bubbles if you part two and part whale? We try not to stay when you come up for air. Don't rock the boat or we have to bail. For a snack, of course, we'll throw you a morsel to catch you. The day was on sale. Your feet be wet and slippery, I bet. You part two and part whale.